basically, emotional intelligence is the ability to identify what you are feeling, understand how your emotions affect your thoughts, your behaviors, and then manage those emotions.
99 FM, it's Skrypt in the afternoon, and it's time now for MYD Heart. On Tuesday this week, we had a chat with Cindy Lee Quipman, intern psychological counselor at Geluk Psychology Services, on long COVID. And this afternoon, we are continuing the topic on mental health as we are joined by Hilma Kasheeta, who is a psychological counselor at Geluk Psychology Services, who will dig deep into emotional intelligence. Hilma, welcome to 99 FM.
Thank you, Skrypt. Thank you for having me.
How's the day, firstly?
The day is well.
Nah, it's been a good one. At least you feel productive?
Yes, it's been a good day. No complaints thus far. So.
Nah, that's good to hear. Now, we speak of emotional intelligence all the time. We hear it. People screenshot all those memes or those Instagram captions on emotional intelligence. But what is emotional intelligence from your perspective?
So basically, emotional intelligence is the ability to identify what you are feeling, understand how your emotions affect your thoughts, your behaviors, and then manage those emotions. And this isn't only your own emotions, but also that of others. This is different from what people would say. What is IQ? I have a high IQ, or this is my IQ. What is IQ? IQ assesses your intellectual ability. You see, that's the difference between IQ and EI, which is emotional intelligence.
Okay. So intellectual quotient is what IQ actually stands for.
Yes, that looks at your intellectual ability, and that is measured through standardized assessments and so forth.
Okay, so tell us more about the importance of EI, emotional intelligence, and its applications.
So if you are able to identify how you are feeling, right, and you understand how that emotion is affecting your thoughts and your behaviors, you are better able to manage them. You are better able to regulate them. And this is an important skill, especially in, say, certain selection positions, such as, let's say, managerial. If you're a manager, you're a supervisor, you need to be able to do conflict management, right? You need to be able to deal with tensions or disagreements that come up in work situations. So having emotional intelligence equips you to be able to do that, to deal with your own emotions, but also that of others. And then you look at yourself as an employee. Developing your emotional intelligence leads to work productivity and efficiency. Because if you are able to identify how you feel, know how you feel, understand how that affects your communication, your behavior, and so forth, you are able to better communicate with others, and also just better to connect with the world or with the work environment in a more informed manner.
So now, in regards to EI, or emotional intelligence, how does emotional intelligence itself, and maybe even the lack thereof, affect us, the functioning of an individual on a day-to-day basis? What does that look like?
Okay, so this one I would like to read it so that the listeners can actually hear it. So, keywords: it helps you build stronger relationships, succeed at school, at work, achieve your career and your personal goals. And I would like everyone tuning in to just pay attention to this part. It can also help you to connect with your feelings, turn intention into action, and make informed decisions about what matters most to you. Because emotional intelligence looks at your overall psyche, right? Which is your feelings, which is your thoughts, which is your behavior. There's also some biological components related to that, and also social factors. Because it looks at your interpersonal relationships, how you interact with other people, how you maintain relationships with other people. And it also looks at your intrapersonal relationship. So this is your relationship with yourself. When you become more self-aware.
Do you feel like just let's speak on young people. Maybe this is a little bit left, maybe a personal opinion from your perspective, but do you feel like we are growing in the direction of becoming a lot more emotionally intelligent, or maybe the social media, this digital age that we're in, is making us less emotionally intelligent? What's your thought on that?
My thought is that there's both cons and benefits to that. There's so much information from social media, which is a good thing. And that used in a productive and a constructive manner is a big big plus towards developing emotional intelligence, be it young people or old people, because we all learn. Life is a learning process, you know. Yes.
And life has lessons every day. It's up to us to decide to learn or not. So let's talk about cultivating emotional intelligence. I know for myself, like I'd like to think, and I stand corrected. I'll maybe come visit Geluk and you guys will assess me. But I'd like to think I'm relatively emotionally intelligent. I'm someone that really walks through my feelings and emotions, even like while they're happening. So a lot of people, for example, I know we say men are not as emotionally intelligent because we don't, for example, a lot of men think crying is whatever, feeling down and sad is this, that, and the third. But diving deep into understanding that is something that I like to do. But how can one cultivate emotional intelligence? Like even for myself, I like to think I'm emotionally intelligent, but I might not be. How can I grow that even more?
You know, Skrypt, that's a common question people always ask. Can I learn to be more emotionally intelligent? And the answer is yes, we all can, because we all do it at a point in our lives. So how we can do that is, I'm just going to reiterate again what I said before. When you are able to identify what you are feeling, what you're experiencing, and you're able to understand how that affects your thinking and your behavior, you're able to manage it in a more constructive and positive and productive manner, right? So we have two ways, looking at the internal resources and looking at the external resources. So the internal resources is you becoming in tune with who you are, you know, grounding yourself. That can be through mindful exercises, that can be through awareness, affirmations, and so forth. And then we have also external resources, such as therapy. So in therapy, we have a psychotherapeutic approach called cognitive behavior therapy. So this looks at an individual's thoughts, an individual's feelings, an individual's behavior. And then looking at how we can work and use that to create productive well-being for that individual. So emotions can be positive or negative, right? That's every human experience.
Yes.
So if we have negative emotions, and that is destructive to your progress, basically. So how do we take those negative emotions and reconstruct them or work on them to have positive thoughts or to have constructive thoughts, which lead to constructive behavior instead of destructive behavior?
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
Hilma, now I'm going to go home and just study myself. I'm just going to look in the mirror and just interrogate myself.
Please do not do that. Do not do that.
No, but it's good. It's not interrogation, but just the reflection and having those honest conversations with yourself, and that intra that you were speaking of, and then obviously seeking help where need be. Hilma, this has been very informative. Emotional intelligence, once again, we hear it all the time, but we never really break through and scrutinize what it really is. So we appreciate you coming through and schooling us a little bit on what it is.
Thank you for having me, Skrypt. And I would just like to add on what you said, like when each individual reflects, right? In Namibia, we have so many psychological resources that we can tap into. So once we go home or we are reflecting and we see that, okay, this isn't well to my well-being, this isn't productive for me, we can always make use of the psychological resources that we have in Namibia.
100%. You heard it from Hilma Kasheeta herself, a psychological counselor at Geluk Psychology Services, and digging deep into emotional intelligence. Hilma, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
MYD Heart was proudly brought to you by NHP. NHP, we are about you.